Good morning, and thank you, Alex. Do you think that Alex just checked the forecast before choosing that piece? It is so good to be with you. This morning we have the pleasure of welcoming to our pulpit the Reverend Sunshine Wolfe. Sunshine currently serves as lead of our, yes, you can say welcome. Sunshine serves as lead of our regional congregational life staff. They are a religious educator and minister with extensive experience in trauma-informed ministry. And yesterday they led us in a retreat sponsored by our Journey Toward Wholeness team. Please welcome the Reverend Sunshine Wolfe.
Morning, y'all. Today we have a chalice lighting from Orlando Brugnola, a BIPOC Unitarian Universalist leader who is among our ancestors now. She wrote, "Flame, friend of our most ancient ancestors, we kindle you now to make you visible in this time. Yet in truth, you burn always. In the unique worth of each person, in the imagination, in the turning of the heart to sorrow and to joy, in the call to hope and in the call to justice. Burn bright before us and burn bright within us." So may it be.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay. As we light this candle, we affirm our commitment to cultivate meaningful relationships with the people of this land and to work together for justice and equity. And again, I say good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal our world. I am the Reverend Justine Sullivan. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers, and I serve as one of your ministers here. If you are visiting with us today, I want to extend a special welcome to you. We invite you to complete the visitor card that you'll find in your order of service, and you can return it to the welcome table out on the patio. If you're joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor card at the link on the live stream page or in the YouTube service description. We would love to connect with you. And if you've been coming here for a while and are starting to feel like this may be your spiritual home, we invite you to consider becoming a member of this community. You can learn more about becoming a member at the welcome table or by contacting Valeria Aguilar, our membership coordinator. Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are and all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here. In all of the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is whom you love and how you love, you are welcome. In all the ways that you live, move, and experience your embodied self, you are welcome here. With all of the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life, together, may we live into our shared values with love at the center. Welcome.
Now please rise in body of spirit and sing Church Hymn.
Good morning, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children or youth who'd like to come up and join me and my friend Reverend Sunshine for our time for all ages. Yes.
I promise I don't bite.
And while our friends are coming up, I'd like to invite all of the community just to take a look at our second hour activities today. That's from 11:30 to 12:30. We have regular yoga in the common room if you want to do some yoga. We have some gentle chair yoga in 323, and we have an emotional healing workshop in 114A, which is the young adult room, almost right as you go out to the parking lot. Good morning, friends. How you doing? Oh, it's a quiet, cloudy morning. Oh, hi.
Between us?
You want to sit here? Great. So friends, as I mentioned, we have Reverend Sunshine with us today.
And mentor.
Oh, and mentor. And as is our tradition when we have guests, we would like to interview them and give you a chance to ask some questions to get to know them a little better. But first, I would like to ask a question. We heard that you're on the congregational life staff for our region, and I wonder if you could tell our friends what that is, what your job entails.
So in our region, which includes 15 states, that's a lot of states, including Hawaii and Alaska. Do you know where that is? All the way over the Pacific Ocean. Well, some of it. And I work with 200 congregations, which means I work with thousands of Unitarian Universalists and thousands of Unitarian Universalist kids and youth. And we fly all over and visit all those congregations and try and help them out. Yeah.
Oh, does that mean there are Unitarian Universalists in Hawaii?
There are.
Well, and you get to visit them?
Actually, in November, yes.
Whoa, that's a job,
Good
friends.
deal.
Look at that. Apply for that job when you're older. So I wonder if you might have some questions you would like to ask. They could be any questions you'd like to ask to get to know Reverend Sunshine better. Does anybody have a question? Oh, your brother's pointing to you. Do you have a question, Valentine?
Nope.
No? Jordan, do you have a question? No? Anybody have a question? Oh, now we're going to be quiet. What is something you might like to know about someone you just met? You have a question?
Is your favorite animal a wolf?
Is your favorite animal a what? A wolf.
A wolf? No. So I'm Native American. I'm Eastern Cherokee and Seminole. And Wolf is one of the many names that my mother gave me, including Sunshine. So I'm Sunshine Wolf.
Whoa.
My favorite animal is probably a meerkat,
Oh.
because they're curious and they work hard.
Oh, I think Cora has a question. Do you have a question? What's your question?
My stuff. My stuff is. What's your stuffed animal's name? Say it loud.
What's your stuffed animal's name?
This is Minter, like mint, the flavor. Do you like chocolate mint ice cream? That's my favorite ice cream. And Minter is a cat. You see the cat. Octopus. You see all the little tentacles. And dragon. You see the wings? And later today, the congregation is going to help Minter fly by throwing Minter around.
What?
It's going to go flying all over the place.
Maybe we'll throw some stuff around in our rooms, right?
We can pass Minter down the line, though, if you want to meet Minter. Just say hi and pass it on to the next person. You want to say hi and then pass it to the next person?
Does anybody else have a question? Valentine, did you think of a question yet? I thought you had a good one on the patio, no? Okay, let me ask a question. So I noticed, as I was sitting there, I just noticed all of the beautiful colors on the stoles today. Could you tell us a little bit about your stole?
Yeah. So I worked in a congregation on the Mississippi River in Alton, Illinois. And they gave me this because all of my stoles, and this is called a stole, were kind of like the other side, kind of dark and a little understated. Because Sunshine had been very clear, I don't want any Sunshine stoles. And so I didn't have any bright ones yet. And because I am queer, I am transgender and non-binary, which means I'm not a boy or a girl, I'm just Sunshine. So I believe in the colors on these rainbow. They gave me a rainbow stole, and it's all quilted and very lovely. I enjoy it. It reminds me of a community I love very much, and I miss them and who I am as a person.
Nice. All right, friends, we have time for one more question if anybody has a good one. Any questions? Oh, Valentine, good.
What's your favorite color?
That's a good one.
There's so many colors that I love. It's so hard to pick. But I think usually purple. Which you'll notice I'm wearing a purple shirt. So anything purple and with glitter.
Oh,
I'm one of those people, I believe in the evil glitter.
well, thank you for answering our questions and for letting us get to know you a little better.
Okay.
And my friends up here, thank you for asking good questions. Can you help me now? Those of us up here, we're going to stand up and lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. You ready? We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now I'd like to invite all the children or youth who'd like to join me and their other leaders on the patio, and we'll head to our groups.
I guess I should stay?
Yes, yeah, you have to stay.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right, don't trip.
Thank you. Future troublemakers. You're training them to be troublemakers, right? Let's make sure of that. All kinds of good trouble. We're going to come back to mentor here in a little bit. So, as mentioned, my name is Reverend Sunshine Jeremiah Wolfe. I'm going to be talking about something called preemptive radical inclusion later. Basically means we act as if the people who we want to be in the room are already here. And one of the ways that I do that is I assume that folks who do not see or see well would benefit from a visual description of who I am as a person. So I am a short, fat, light-skinned human with short buzz-cut brown hair, salt and pepper beard. I'm wearing wire-rimmed glasses and a mint mask, and I'm wearing a purple button-down shirt with a rainbow stole, as mentioned during the time with our kiddos. I'm going to start the sermon with a little piece of a hymn, and it goes like this. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding me. I gotta tell you, y'all, sometimes right now it's hard to really believe that's true. And yet, I'm continually reminded that it's true. I visit our Unitarian Universalist congregations who are doing amazing work, who are marching, who are saying no to authoritarianism and fascism and all the behaviors that make that real. They are saying yes to life, even when it's scary. And that is something we have learned generation to generation to do, to say that there is a love, even if there are folks out there who try to quash it. Yeah? We're committed to love. So often I go out into communities and folks will see our goldenrod t-shirts and they'll be like, oh, that's the love people. We're known for it. And it's so hard to remember that that ever-present love is actually present. The sermon's title, Heaven's Here on Earth, is based on a Tracy Chapman song. Any Tracy Chapman fans? Yes. Right? And Tracy Chapman, a black woman singing about heaven being here on earth, is a revolutionary statement. As a black woman and a musician, she has experienced so many different kinds of oppression and harm, and yet is still willing to say, heaven's here on earth. Is it hard to imagine heaven's here on earth? And in Unitarian Universalism, where we're not sure what comes next, and some of us may believe in heaven and hell, and some of us may not, we know, as part of our faith in people and what it means to be in relationship with all our diverse values and opinions and views, that our job is to assume this is the one shot we get. Heaven is here on earth, and it isn't perfect because we're not perfect. I mean, unless you are. Anybody here perfect? A couple of folks raised their hands. We smile and nod at you. None of us here are perfect. We're going to cause harm in our lives whether we mean to or not, and that actually is okay. It's what we do next that matters. Heaven's here on earth is about the promises we make to each other in relationship. I've been working with your Journey Towards Wholeness team, and for folks who may be new to this community, Journey Towards Wholeness helps the congregation consider what it needs to do to be an anti-racist congregation. And that is not easy work. That is the work of multiple lifetimes. I say that again. That is the work of multiple lifetimes. We're not going to create an anti-racist community in our lifetime. It's not like somehow we arrive. Let me give an example that may be more relatable to explain how that is. How many folks in the room identify as women? How many of you think sexism has ended? No more sexism? Right? No. There's still sexism. Men still tend to mansplain to women, right? There still tend to be a lot of issues. There is still an authoritarian community, and it has a significant role in our current government, who thinks that women should not work and should not be in positions of authority. That is active and being spoken right now from our government. Sexism is still real. And in my lifetime, numerous women weren't allowed to have bank accounts, had to have credit cards in the names of their husbands, and were often listed as Mr. and Mrs. John Smith. That's in my lifetime. We're not even out of my generation, or the generations of the women here who experienced that themselves, right? So, if we haven't arrived on sexism, how can we possibly have arrived on racism, or homophobia, or transphobia, or the many different things that we struggle with as human beings? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if in that we know we haven't arrived, what does it mean to create heaven here on earth? There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all that I love. We do live in a societal norm where individualism is still kind of king, where the focus is entirely on my rights, and those are important. I don't want to delay them or belay them. But we are communities by nature. There's a wonderful poem by Reverend Elizabeth Mount that says, co-regulation, not self-regulation, is in our nature. That we were born to co-regulate with our mothers or parents from the time we were in their bellies till the time we were out of it. We co-regulated with our families, or with people who taught us how to be human. We co-regulate with the air around us. How many of you are breathing right now? Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. We co-regulate through our breath with the world around us. We co-regulate with the moon and the sun. We're constantly in this space of regulation and relationship. We are wired for relationship, as Brené Brown says. Wired for it. Creating heaven and earth is not about saying it's all perfect. Creating heaven on earth is saying that each of us in our many various communities will do our part to do as little harm as possible and to help people say yes to their lives and to that which is meaningful. And very importantly, that we will help remove the barriers that prevent that most yesful life. And honestly, there's nothing more revolutionary than that right now. In a society that is increasingly saying certain people don't get to live well, and maybe shouldn't even exist, saying that we believe in removing the barriers to their existence, being full and whole, is revolutionary. Heaven is here on earth. It's in every daily action that we do, and it is not some imagined perfect place where no one feels pain or sorrow. It is sorrowful. It is painful. It is also joyful and wondrous. Yeah? How many of you experienced some joy this week? How many of you experienced anger this week? Right? It all lives together. None of it comes separate. When we are working to counter racism in our communities, we must remember it's not going to happen in our lifetimes, but that doesn't mean it's not worth doing. We do our little bits. And if you are a person of color, or if you are transgender, or an immigrant, or any of the communities that are being particularly targeted right now, do what feels possible. And if you are not in those communities, do a little more. But always do what feels possible. It's overwhelming right now. Anybody else overwhelmed? God knows I am. Do what feels possible right now. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love.
Lay ministers are available after the service each week to offer a listening presence. Maybe you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share. This morning, our lay minister is Brandon. He's wearing the yellow stole. You can find him after worship. There are many things happening after service today. Please check your order of service. Social hour in Bard Hall. We also are offering a tour of this beautiful campus. Liz Jones will be here up on the chancel after worship to take you and show you around and give you some history, a wonderful opportunity. We're in the midst of our Dining for Dollars. This is a semi-annual community fundraiser event. We invite you to consider being a host for a fun-filled event, and you can find out more at the Dining for Dollars table in Bard Hall following worship. That's over to the left as you exit this space. Or you can check it out on our website under the Giving tab and look for the online event submission form to create some ideas on what to offer. Events are due by September 28th, and bidding will begin on October 5th. One of the ways that we live our values in the larger world is by sharing our offering each week with a local organization working for justice. Throughout the month of September, our offering is being received in support of the San Diego Organizing Project. This is a multi-faith network of congregations organizing to reclaim democracy and resist authoritarianism in our local communities. SDOP, one of our key justice partners, is on the front lines through supporting the development of neighborhood immigrant solidarity networks, the faith accompaniment program at the immigration courts, and their statewide house meeting campaign, Rooted and Rising. You can give through text to give, and the number will appear on your screen. You can also donate this morning in person through cash or check in one of the boxes in the middle of the sanctuary, or on our church's website, firstuusandiego.org. Thank you for your generosity. The morning offering will now be gratefully received. Another way that we can offer an embodied prayer, if you're here in the meeting house, is to light a candle and place it in the sand over in the trencher there on my left, your right. You can do that at any time during the service. Our reading this morning is by Unitarian Universalist religious educator and activist C.B. Beale. The reading is entitled Preemptive Radical Inclusion. All the people are my people. All of us means all of us. I coined the term preemptive radical inclusion, this is CB speaking now, in about 2012 and started talking publicly about it in 2013. As I have developed the ideas since then, it became clear that it is an approach, a philosophy, and an adaptive set of perspectives and practices that people use to increase justice and equity in their lives and in their organizations. Preemptive radical inclusion, PRI, is a way of being, of leading and following in turn. PRI is a philosophy about creating just, loving, and creative spaces in the world. But PRI is more than just a philosophical approach. It is an intervention, an activity, a process. PRI requires reflection and exploration, and it leads us to make decisions about what our next moves will be to involve everyone within those spaces where we have leadership responsibility. PRI means that we challenge what we already believe, the systems that have worked for us and that we enjoy, and lean into learning how other people experience those systems. Practicing PRI means we have to change. In fact, it's a sign that we are practicing preemptive radical inclusion that we notice it is we who change. Here ends our reading.
That was lovely. Brings me back to seminary. Some of you may know Wendy Bartell, and Wendy and I started seminary together the same year. And one of our colleagues, Neil Anderson, is Canadian. Wayle and Jenny's are Canadian, and that song was part of many of our worship services. So it's like a whole first circle thing coming around. And I have fond memories of sleeping on the floor at youth retreats here when I was a religious educator. Oh, fond memories. So there's that song. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. Yeah, I'm going to leave you hanging there. Preemptive radical inclusion. Now, you don't have to memorize that. I was listening to a podcast, one of my favorites, called, I forget what it's called. Anyway, the podcasters were commenting that people talk about white supremacy culture, and these are liberals speaking, and, it's just so academic and above people's heads that nobody can take it in. And so it's clearly part of the academy. And what Sunshine has to say to that is no. Understanding what white supremacy culture is and what racism is comes predominantly from Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities and poor organizing communities. And then was made academic by white supremacy culture, so then folks would have a harder time accessing it. Does that make sense? There's an order of operations. The same thing with queer. That concept was created by poor, marginalized, lesbian, gay, and non-binary, trans, queer fun folk as a resistance to the normativity of saying that folks who are gay and lesbian, where one acts more in the masculine role and one acts more in the feminine role, would do better. And the folks who didn't fit that said no. Same thing with this white supremacy culture work and the anti-racism work. It comes from the lived experiences of the communities who are most harmed. So when we talk about this stuff, it's okay to use the academic language, but let's not get lost in it. And let's not get lost in perfect interpretations of it, because perfectionism is a tool of white supremacy culture to say you're wrong and shut up. And I'm not interested in that. Are you? Are you interested in perfectionism? There are times when I want somebody to be a perfectionist. If they're doing brain surgery, for example, please be a perfectionist. But in relationships, when we're countering all kinds of justice issues and saying, no, every human being is worthy of love and grace, that is not a time for perfectionism. Insisting that you're right is not the path forward. I can almost guarantee you most of the time we're wrong. And it's our humility that gets us through in these conversations. It's our curiosity that gets us through. So this concept of preemptive radical inclusion, I don't want you to get lost in those specific words. All it means is this. We prepare this space as if the people we want to be here are already here. We prepare this space as if the people who we want to be here are already here. Unitarian Universalist values meet a whole wide community of people who want and need what we have to offer. And yet, I will be clear, the majority of our congregations are white, well-educated folks with great intentions and a whole lot of cluelessness a whole lot of the time, myself included. And that's a hard truth. And what a lot of our congregations are working on is preparing for people as if they were already here. I saw it this morning in a whole lot of ways. You may have Spanish speakers in the congregation, but the sermon is in English. Most of the stuff is in English, and yet you still include Spanish in your service. That's preemptive radical inclusion. That's acting as if the folks who we want to be here are already here. Now, some of that's because of where we are, right? You have a sign language interpreter, which means that more folks who cannot hear and need sign language to communicate have access to something whether they're here or not. And I'm assuming they are and not presuming. Let's be real clear. But it's a clear sign. How many of you are using hearing-assisted devices? Right? We have a lot of ways that we do this. So what would it mean to prepare as if the community of color who need and want what our religion has would already be welcome here? We would already have the things in place. And there are some things I can tell you stop folks from coming. When somebody says something about, oh, well, it must be really hard being you right now in this society. Probably not the way to start that conversation. I've had that one come up. As an Indigenous person, more than a few worship services that I've preached at or done things, folks have come up and asked me all kinds of weird questions about Indigenous people. My favorite one was the woman who said, I came today because I knew I had to meet an Indian. Oh, boy. Who wants to show up for that? Right? And I know she was well-meaning, she was well-intentioned, there was a lot of love in her heart, but I felt like you don't see me as a real human being. You see me as the epitome of what indigeneity is. And I'm not here for that. Who wants to come to church to educate the people around them about who they are? How many of you showed up today so you could teach everybody about yourself? It's not how we do things. We need to be naturally curious, but we also need to remember that many of the questions we are taught and socialized to ask are harmful. And I say that to everybody in the room, including Black and Indigenous and people of color, because we deal with internalized oppression. We're trained with the same questions and the same challenges. We just may be a little more prepped to resist it, right? And we still engage in all the other oppressions, whatever our intersectional identities are. So for me, working really hard on ableism. Still struggling with that one. Trying to make sure that I don't say or do things that are harmful to folks who live with disabilities. Do no harm. That's the goal. And in the doing no harm, we create more love. All right. So I've been talking a minute about some pretty heavy stuff, right? Y'all feeling a little serious? Here's the thing. You know what we all do? Well, we play. And you don't have to, in creating that preemptively generous community, in creating that community as a people were here, be serious all the time, because nobody wants any part of that. The world's serious enough, right? Anybody think this world is full of joy at the moment? I don't think so. So we create our own joy. Thus enters Mentor. Say hi, Mentor. Some of you are like, you're full of it, sunshine. So here's what's going to happen. Mentor, being a cat, octopus, dragon, having wings, would like to fly. Which means Mentor's going to fly around the sanctuary. But of course, Mentor's not real, so it has to be propelled by the generous grace of the human beings in this room. Are you up for this? Yeah. Some of you are like, no, that's just too weird. If you're not interested, just don't catch it. And if you're throwing, do not throw it to somebody who shakes their head no at you. We good? Because if we're not about anything, we're about consent. I see somebody preemptively ready to toss Mentor, so I'm going to see if I can get it that far. There we go. And keep tossing. Mentor needs to fly all over the place. Whoa! Wow! Now the nice thing is Mentor is super soft, so nobody's going to get hurt by Mentor. even if it gets them in the head. Keep tossing. I want Mentor to keep flying until the end of my sermon. Can we commit to that? And there's somebody in the way back who would like to catch Mentor. And to the people who are participating online, I wish I could throw Mentor through the camera to you. But if you could imagine it, we are throwing Mentor to you. Uh-oh, Mentor needs saving. Mentor's in limbo land. And there is somebody in the far, far corner. There we go, up there. Hey, throw it behind you.
Behind you.
No, throw it behind you. Or throw it back. Okay, there we go. All right, as we get it to the person in the back. Yay. So here's the thing in talking about this work. We have to have moments of fun. And what you'll notice is you're like listening to me, you're in a haze or whatever. We start throwing this around and you're suddenly present to what's happening in the room. That's called regulation. It brings us down. Much of what happens in anti-racism, in white supremacy culture, in all of our work, it's hard to find words for what's going on with us. We need to be able to be in our bodies in order to build that world, that community that we want to be. Which means we need to do the fun things that help us be here and be now. To be silly, as it were. Do we have any natural silly people in this community? I'm sure we do. You know who you are. They're your jokester. There's the ones that will help you create the joy and the connection to be here now. And the other thing is that play is a resilience tool. How many of you feeling so overwhelmed and so exhausted, and just like, how do I do this? You do it by having playful moments. And we have learned this from Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities. I don't know how many powwows that I've been to that are about building the strength and the resilience in our community. How many hymns and songs and music and videos. Recently I watched Sinners, if anybody's seen that movie. That's about building resilience and community, about having creative ways to tell stories. We dance, we sing. Queer community in the 70s and 60s, disco was all about dancing out all the stress from saying, treat us like human beings. It's how we say yes. We play. We throw, where'd Mentor go? There we go, Mentor's over there. All right, we throw things around. We say yes to joy, to things that disrupt the status quo. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. I rest in this love. Mentor found a good landing spot. I rest in this love. Can you become a community of rest and respite for people who are afraid right now? Not just yourselves, but the folks who haven't joined you yet. For the folks who have been in your community and experienced harm from this community. Not intentionally, but through questions and statements that cause harm. Are you willing to become a respite for all? Are you? Yes. You don't sound sure for me. What would it take? One of my favorite memes out there is Grumpy Cat. Anybody familiar with Grumpy Cat? Yeah, so Grumpy Cat is the Siamese cat. He died some years ago, but he was very famous for looking and having resting grouch face. Some of you may know this, you might have resting grouch face. I sometimes do, particularly before coffee. And my favorite meme, it has grumpy cat sitting there being all grouchy in the weeds, and it says, "There are only two things I hate, change and the way things are." That's a mood, right? That is a mood. Becoming a place of respite for folks experiencing harm means that you will need to change. But that's not new for you. You're a religious community. Is this congregation the same as it was 10 years ago? No. Or 20? Or even 5? You are not meant to stay the same, but you can be generatively, creatively changing so that you create that place of respite. But it means you have to be willing to change. How many of you like changing? There are always a few. I kind of am in that camp. Most folks don't like change. They're like, okay, and also right now, like, we've had enough change. Can we just stop all the change? But we can't stop it, right? And also, how many of you look like you did when you were 3? How many of you look like you did 10 years ago? We are biologically not created to stay the same. We are always changing. And our job is to figure out how to let that be okay. How do you let that be okay? Let the change be something that brings hope to the people who need it, including yourself, but not only yourself. I said earlier what feels possible right now. That comes from the work of Leah Lakshmi Peepsna Samasarenha. You don't need to remember her name. I can barely pronounce it. She's amazing, though. And she is a Black, disabled, queer woman, non-binary also, who wrote Care Work, Dreaming Disability Justice. I will have this along with stickers in the coffee hour after if you want to chat. And what she's saying with the what feels possible right now is about how disabled community has learned to work towards justice even as it can be really hard to do so, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And you start the day with what feels possible right now. Sometimes what feels possible is waking up and that's it. Not getting out of bed, not doing anything else, just waking up. Sometimes what feels possible is taking a shower. Sometimes what feels possible is leaving your house. You do what feels possible, but that does not absolve you of the responsibility to do the things. All of us have a role to play. What feels possible right now? I lived in Ferguson, well, next to Ferguson, Missouri, when all of that was going down. And a lot of us were in the streets. I was. But there were a lot of people who couldn't be for a lot of reasons. And instead, they did what they felt was possible. They were the folks on the phone lines when folks asked for bail assistance. They were the folks who provided pastoral care to families who were feeling stress. They were the folks arguing with the school system when the school system said that kids who talked about what was happening in Ferguson would be suspended and tried to change those rules. All of us can do that little bit, but the whole community has to own it. And that is your job. If you are a part of this community, either as a member or adjacent to it, and if you're new, you're absolved from this. Are you willing to do what feels possible to make this an anti-racist congregation? And by that, I mean a place that does not harm BIPOC folks and is ready for BIPOC folks when they show up. Are you willing to do your little bit? Yes? You don't have to do it all. Adrienne Marie Brown, who's a Black woman who has created a kind of way of thinking about doing people work on the work of Octavia Butler. And if you're a sci-fi fan, you should absolutely read Octavia Butler. One of the things she talks about is taking the next elegant action. It just means the next thing that makes sense to do. What's your next elegant action in making this an anti-racist congregation? Think you can do that?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you really sure?
Yes.
Ah, okay, maybe. We're almost there. Just one little thing. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. If you know the hymn, you can sing it with me. And if not, no worries. Where did Mentor end up? Can we toss Mentor one more time? Just don't hit anybody. There we go. Woo! Oh, wow. Well done. Thank you for helping Mentor fly. So have fun, work hard, but not so much that you feel like you can't do anything else. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. Cause good trouble.
Now please rise in body spirit and sing the closing hymn 1017. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Envy and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feel our every need. We can feel our every need. We can free our every need. Some with love, there is the sea. We can free our every need. We serve freedom is our pride. We serve freedom is our pride. We serve freedom is our pride. Without belief, the world will die. We serve freedom is our
Please stay arisen. Can you hear me now? Yeah, please stay arisen. I invite you to look around the room. Now, if you're an introvert or neurodivergent, I'm not saying look longingly in the eyes of the people around you. I'm saying look around at the people. This is your community, yeah? Is this your community? Yes. This is your sacred community by the good work of these people. And you don't have to like them all. I'm assuming you don't, and that's okay. But even with the folks you do not like or get along with, this is your community. And by the work of all the people who are here, we make living and loving possible. We practice here what most means to be human, so we can model it out there for a world that desperately needs it. Yeah?
Yes.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
May you be the most sacred community, and may you cause comfort and trouble in equal measure. May it be so.